Minor Warfare 3, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Welcome. Let's talk some Monday Night Football. I'm excited for tonight. I don't know about all of you. It should be a very interesting game tonight. Had a great Week 11. This might have been my best week of the season, honestly. Much needed week. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Fran the Pan, how's it going? How is everyone? Julian, hope you had a good day. What's up, Amar? Who do you have winning? I think I personally have the Bucks winning this game. I think it can go either way, though. Good to see everyone. Should I be worried about CMC? I mean, no. I think when he comes back, he's going to be a top 10 player again. Michael Thomas, I know. First game over 100 yards. All it took was Taysom Hill. Who would have thought Michael Thomas over a 50% target share with Taysom Hill? Absolutely insane what we saw from Michael Thomas. Hey, Sam, thoughts on trading Mixon for someone like Deontay or Fuller? Yeah, I think those are both good options. Joe Mixon, I know. Joe Mixon's been on a long vacation, everyone. You should be worried about CMC. Might not even come back. I think he is going to come back. I haven't seen any sort of report saying he's not going to come back at all. Yes, Mixon is not coming back. Is that official? Josh, are you breaking this news? Hey, Sam, is Hopkins for Aaron Jones a good trade? I think it's fair. I'd probably personally rather have Hopkins, though. Joe Mixon's on IR, but I do believe he's coming back. Joe Burrow, on the other hand, damn, sad to see what happened to Joe Burrow. Yeah, they did lose Burrow. Why risk him? I think he'll still come back. Hey, Sam, the app says Woods, but do you think I should start Woods or Evans? Yeah, I would go Robert Woods as well. Dalvin for Henry, straight up. Absolutely. I've been saying this for a while, and people got mad at me about this take, when Dalvin Cook was having his massive games. But I'm still willing to trade Dalvin Cook straight up for Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is one of the easiest playoff schedules we have seen in the past 5 years. Are you still going to post during the offseason? Uncle Rico, of course, man. I'm not going anywhere. Kamara or Henry? I would go Henry for the rest of the season. I think still Derrick Henry probably the most valuable asset in fantasy football given his playoff schedule. Rams house. Jason, I think that the Bucks could take down the Rams tonight. It's time to trade Mixon for Bernard. Oh, God, Amar. I still wouldn't do that. Bernard's nothing to write home about. Honestly, Bernard and Duke Johnson have been super disappointing. Duke Johnson is oh, God. I mean, the volume and snap share he's seeing, he just has no production. Are you still going to post during the offseason? I do think I'm going to, Uncle Rico. Hey, Sam, CeeDee Lamb, Robbie Anderson, or Deontay Johnson next week? CeeDee Lamb, Robbie Anderson, or Deontay Johnson next week? Fran the Pan, man, I'm still on week 11. I don't know about you, but if I had to guess now, I would probably go with Deontay Johnson. The man has been unstoppable. Over 25% target share still in every single game he's played, as we keep saying. And guys, if you are, we're live on YouTube right now as well, both on TikTok and YouTube. Go check us out on YouTube if you haven't yet. We passed 1,000 YouTube subscribers this week, which was super exciting. Everyone watching on live on YouTube, appreciate every single one of you being our first 1,000 subscribers. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button really quick, especially at the early parts of the stream. It helps us out a ton. So just hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. Should I do CMC for Chubb and Godwin? CMC for Chubb and Godwin. I do think CMC is coming back this year, but I would rather have Chubb and Godwin than him. Hey, Sam, I need 26 points, Jake says, with Woods and Tampa Bay defense. You think I can get it done? It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a close one. Yeah, I think you might need a Tampa Bay touchdown for that. What is Waller worth? I think Waller's a top 3 tight end in fantasy football. Should I trade for Taysom Hill? No, Quentin, you should not trade for Taysom Hill. On ESPN leagues too, Taysom Hill no longer going to be allowed at tight end. Expectations for Gaskin rest of season. I like that question. Gaskin, guys, I'm not so sure that the role for Gaskin's just going to be there waiting for him when he comes back. I'm not sure he's the type of player that deserves. He was really good, but I'm not sure he's going to command that role that he had when he comes back from injury, which could be as soon as next week. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube, appreciate you. Thank you for being our first 1,000 subscribers. Definitely hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube live. Appreciate all the people watching on TikTok live as well. Would Woods or AB? I'd go AB probably. I'd probably if we were to rank all of the receivers tonight, if we were to just rank all of the receivers, I think this is how I would rank them. And these are tough receivers to rank. Like all of these receivers tonight have a chance at a touchdown, every single one of them. But personally, I would rank them. Number 1, I would go Chris Godwin. Number 2, I would argue Antonio Brown. Number 3, I would go Cooper Kupp. Number 4, I would say Robert Woods. And then number 5, fifth, is probably Mike Evans. And again, that's probably going to end up being the wrong order. There's like a lot of different variations that order could end up in tonight, but that's how I would rank tonight's wide receivers. Again, I would say number 1 to me is Chris Godwin, who's the best receiver playing on the field tonight. Chris Godwin's an absolute beast. I think he's going to go for at least 70 yards. Number 2, I think Antonio Brown has consistently seen a pretty high target share, and he saw more targets last week despite playing fewer snaps. So if his snaps can increase tonight and the target share based on the number of snaps, targets per snap he's getting, I think he's the number 2 receiver. I love Cooper Kupp. Obviously, I'm rocking the Kupp jersey tonight. Cooper Kupp, we were 5 out of 6 predicting his player prop pick this season. So Cooper Kupp basically paid for this jersey himself. So gotta love Cooper Kupp. But I put him at number 3. He's one of the most consistent, underrated receivers in the NFL. Robert Woods has been a little bit disappointing. I would put him at number 4, though, because Mike Evans still really not having a very productive season while playing alongside of Chris Godwin. Do I need expectations for Mostert? Yeah, guys, Raheem Mostert scored 20 points in every game he's played. He's played 2 games. So I guess you can expect something close to that when he comes back with a 49ers team that's always been pretty efficient running the ball. And guys, if you have not checked out the WalterPicks app yet on the iOS App Store, you got to go check it out. I spent over 400 hours building this app. I've spent over 3 years building the projections that power the app. So definitely go check it out if you haven't checked it out. Guys, we got 830 5-star reviews on the iOS App Store this season, which is pretty cool. Very exciting. Definitely go check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. Yeah, I did see that about Adam Thielen. Yo, what's up, Sam Medwa? Good to see you. Subscriber, Joey. Nice to see you, Joey. Thanks for subscribing in the WalterPicks app. Expectations for Taylor rest of the season. Yeah, guys, Jonathan Taylor might be back. Jonathan Taylor might be back. There is life in the Jonathan Taylor fantasy shares. There's life. I think Jonathan Taylor has a chance still. And I'm not saying this is a guaranteed thing. Don't misconstrue my words. I see you, Medwa. Don't do that to me, Joey. But I'm telling you, there is a chance. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, 22 carries. 22 carries. The second most he's had all season since week 2. 22 carries, leads the team in snaps. I mean, this was his best all-around game since leaving Wisconsin. He dominated the backfield. He had 26 total touches. Nyheim Hines only had 10. Wilkins only had 5. It's a sign of life for Jonathan Taylor. I think he can be a running back 2 down the stretch. And how perfect of timing is it for the fantasy season? TD called back. I know he did have a TD called back. But Jonathan Taylor definitely has some upside moving forward. Hey, Sam, subscribe. Thanks, man. Thoughts on Michael Thomas rest of the season? Love the good work. And Walter, we trust. Thanks. User 1455743517067. I love reading those. Think about how many people are on TikTok when I read those. I mean, what is that number in the billions? Insane. Yeah, I do think Michael Thomas has upside. I mean, we've been saying it all year. It's still Michael Thomas, guys. It's still the Michael Thomas who set the record for most receptions in a season. So that Michael Thomas, yes, he still has upside. I don't think he's going to be that consistent with Taysom Hill. But, guys, he had over 50% of the Saints targets with Taysom Hill playing, which is pretty incredible. We hit 1K this week. Let's go. We did. And J Soul Park, thanks for saying we there, because you had a big part in that. You were here in the first 500. Love to hear it. Who wins this one? Who wins this one? Person has Godwin, but down 14.7, and the other has Suck Up. Godwin has a real chance to outscore 14.7 plus Suck Up. It's going to be close. Down 20.6, I have Godwin and Evans. You got to go Godwins. I do think Godwin's the better play over Evans. Do you check here? Yeah, Kieran, of course, man. Sup, Sam? Bucks or Rams D? Down by 5. Bucks or Rams D? Oh, I'd probably go Bucks. Thoughts on Hopkins? Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins to me still top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, still top 5 wide receiver in fantasy. Thoughts on Scary Terry and Lamar? Love both of them. Do I start Mike Evans or Antonio Brown? Personally, again, I'll link the receivers for tonight really quickly. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube, appreciate you. Hit that like button for us. Helps us out a ton, more than you probably realize. It just takes 2 seconds hitting that like button. And especially if I get to your question, would appreciate that. But here's how I rank the wide receivers tonight on Monday Night Football. I would go number 1. To me, it's Chris Godwin. I think he's the best receiver on the field tonight, and he's probably going to be the most consistent receiver that we see tonight. I have him going over 70 yards tonight. The second, number 2 receiver for me is Antonio Brown, who has seen his targets increase in back-to-back games. His snaps decreased last game, but his targets still increased. I think we could see another bump in targets for him. And if we do, if he gets to that 10 target mark, I mean, Antonio Brown's going to probably be the best receiver tonight. So I have him at number 2. Number 3 to me is Cooper Kupp, my guy who literally paid for this jersey himself because of how many player props. AB is not 2. Chicago Snowman. I got AB at number 2 wide receiver tonight. And the reason is his targets have increased back-to-back games. And I don't think he's going to be shadowed by Jalen Ramsey much in this game. I think Antonio Brown has a realistic shot to be the number 1 receiver tonight. Cooper Kupp for me is number 3. Robert Woods is number 4. And Mike Evans is dead last at number 5. And I have been kind of low on Mike Evans this whole season. Again, he obviously has immense touchdown upside. All 5 of these guys. I mean, good luck. Write down. Go take a piece of paper out. Write down how you would rank those 5 wide receivers, and then I want you to check back at the end of the night. I bet you were wrong because there's a lot of variability with these 5 receivers tonight. But when is the app out on Android? Good question, Gamester Boy. It's coming. It's coming. There's not a set deadline. We're working hard to improve our iOS experience still, but it's definitely coming soon. What should I do with Julio? Hayden. Julio Jones played, I think he played 18 snaps, ran like 11 routes in the game. So we're back to kind of where we were a couple months ago with Julio Jones, where we know Julio Jones is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, but is he healthy? He's 31 years old. He's dealing with nagging injuries, and now he's questionable heading into this next week. It's not a great place. WalterPicks helped me this week. Love to hear it, QWIC. Yeah, we also just came out with the winners wall on the WalterPicks app. So if you had some success with the WalterPicks app, if you won some money, if you won your fantasy matchup, definitely submit your story to the winners wall. You could be featured in the app. So you should definitely do that. What is your thoughts on Keenan Allen? I mean, Keenan Allen, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, probably number 1 most consistent wide receiver in the NFL. I think that was one of the things we learned this week and really over the last month, guys. With Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen now has 4 straight games with a touchdown. Hold Bell, yeah, hold Le'Veon Bell just because he's one of the best handcuffs in the league, but that's what he is. He's a handcuff in fantasy football. Is an account for the app free? Yeah, it's a completely free app to download. You also get 15 free start-sit comparisons before it'll push you to subscribe. But we are a subscription model. This is a business. I am trying to reach a goal of doing this full time. And so the subscriptions are really what keep us going. We do offer a 3-day free trial as well for the subscription. I think it's important that you get to experience the premium features of the app for 3 days before actually having to pay. I think every service should offer a 3-day free trial, at least if we're being honest. Kamara, Lockett, Evans for Devontae Adams and Derrick Henry. Yes, absolutely. You're getting the most valuable player in fantasy football, which is Derrick Henry, who has one of the easiest playoff schedules I've seen in the past 5 years. And you're getting Devontae Adams, who's better than Lockett and Evans. I mean, it's a no-brainer trade. Is T. Higgins not startable anymore? Oh, God, the whole Bengals offense you have to question now. Tyler Boyd, I don't know. T. Higgins, probably not going to be in any starting lineups for me. AJ Green, absolutely not anymore. I mean, the whole Bengals offense is just going into a dumpster fire until Joe Burrow is back. And I hope he can come back by the start of next season. What a sad injury. Hey, Sam, I need you. Jackson, I got you, man. Who do I start? Pick 2, Eckler, Chris Carson, Swift. You mean for next week? Jackson, we're still on week 11. You're thinking ahead, man. But, I mean, Eckler and Chris Carson are great options. And Taysom Hill, by the way, not going to be able to start him at flex or tight end next week. ESPN is moving him back to just quarterback, which I think is kind of controversial. I think if they were going to do that, they should have just done it from the start. Now we had like 1 week where people got to play him at tight end, and now people thought he was going to be a tight end, and they might have traded him with that value, and now he's not a tight end anymore. What is your projection for Brady? I think Brady's probably going to go over 240 yards tonight. Brady has the best receiving weapons in the NFL, and so any given game, he has really high upside. And there was a game, guys, where the Bucs literally ran the ball 3 times. Like, that's within the range of outcomes for the Bucs, who, by the way, are averaging the most deep attempts per game in the NFL still. Thoughts on CEH? Yeah, guys, I traded Clyde in a bunch of my leagues. And if you've been following me from the start, you know that I'm in 6 high-stakes fantasy leagues. In 4 of those 6 leagues, I drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There wasn't actually a single player I had more money risked on than Clyde this season. I traded him away in 3 of those 4 leagues this past week. And then, what do you know? He goes for 2 touchdowns. But I still think he's got a really low floor with Le'Veon Bell there. Hi, Dominic. How's it going, man? Thoughts on Ravens offense as a whole? Yeah. I mean, we predicted the Mark Andrews breakout, but guys, Mark Marquise Brown had 0 points in a brutal drop. He had I think 2 targets. One of them was just an absolutely horrible drop for a first down that would have really helped the offense convert. And every single week, I feel like I'm saying the Baltimore Ravens offense is underrated in terms of the public perception of the Baltimore Ravens. And every single week, they just let me down. And I do think that they still are underrated in terms of where people are seeing them. I still think Lamar Jackson has a pretty intriguing playoff schedule in fantasy football. But I'm definitely concerned about Marquise Brown. I mean, Marquise Brown is probably one of my biggest disappointments of the whole season. Favorite Monday Night Football DFS plays? Yeah, I think Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin are probably 2 of my favorites. Again, I would rank the receivers tonight. I would say, and people are going to disagree with these rankings. Good luck, though, thinking about these rankings. I challenge each and every one of you watching right now, really quickly, take out a piece of paper, take out a pen, write down how you would rank these 5 wide receivers, and then see if you were right tonight, because you're probably going to be wrong. Number 1, I have Chris Godwin. Number 2, I have Antonio Brown. 3, then Cooper Kupp. Then Robert Woods, then Mike Evans. That's how I would rank the 5 receivers tonight. 1, Godwin. 2, Antonio Brown. 3, Cooper Kupp. 4, Robert Woods. 5, Mike Evans. That's how I would rank them. How would you rank them? Write it down. See if you were right. Let me know if you ended up being right. I'm up 26. I have Suck Up and my opponent has Brady. Yeah, you're probably good, but it could end up being close. Hey, Sam, gave 5-star review. Thanks, man. Yeah, the 5-star reviews in the iOS App Store help us out a ton, guys. We've had over 820 5-star reviews now, which is super exciting. So thank you for that. Should I trade Ridley and Eckler for Henry? I already have Adams and Hill. Yeah, if you already have Adams and Hill, definitely do that. What do I do with Ridley? Is he a good start anymore? Yeah, of course. Calvin Ridley is definitely still a good start. How does your view on Evans change if he scores more than 15 tonight? Quentin Craig, if he scores more than 15 tonight and it's not just touchdowns, then my view definitely changes. I think he's got a higher floor than I thought. But he's still averaging under 50 receiving yards per game in games where Chris Godwin also played. And receiving yards is really what you want to look at, not touchdowns. Touchdowns are a little less predictable. He is a dominant touchdown scorer. He's going to be very involved in the red zone. But if Mike Evans doesn't score a touchdown, he has a pretty good chance to go under 7 points. And that's just not great from a wide receiver that you're starting as a wide receiver 1 or 2. What do you think of Robbie Anderson? Yeah, Robbie Anderson's had a few down weeks in a row now, but I still think he's an elite wide receiver. Appreciate everybody watching live on YouTube. If you are, hit that like button. It helps us out a ton. Takes 2 seconds. You're up 22 with Kupp, down 22 with Kupp and Evans. Yeah, you probably got it. Thoughts on Michael Thomas? First game over 100 yards. Thoughts on Jamison Crowder? Oh, Jamison Elite Crowder had his first non-elite week of the season. And I guess we should have seen it coming. Again, he's in close proximity to Adam Gase. But it was a pretty down week. I mean, he literally had, 1 catch? Felt like he had 2 targets, which was very strange for Jamison Crowder. Let's read what really quickly. Yeah, he had 3 targets. He turned that into 1 catch for 16 yards. Joe Flacco was favoring deep attempts to Perriman and Mims. By the way, we dominated with the Denzel Mims prop pick this week. That one was obvious. And I think that Jamison Crowder, he really needs Sam Darnold to come back, but he could end up being back, Sam Darnold, for week 12, and that'll be good news for Jamison Crowder. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Crowder, Jackson. Someone just offered me Mahomes for Herbert and Josh Allen. Yeah, do that. Would you still trade Clyde right now after this game? Yeah, I mean, I think J. Soul Park, I think it's a perfect time to be selling Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He just came off a 2-touchdown game. He had a touchdown the game before. He's still not seeing that elite volume that I think we were hoping for when we drafted him in the first round or the second round of fantasy drafts. He saw 14 carries last week. He saw a combined 11 carries in the 2 games before that. His workload has decreased since Le'Veon Bell has entered town. And luckily, Eric Factor, great job, bro. Eric, good to see you. But his workload definitely has decreased each of the games that Le'Veon Bell has been there, and I think it lowers his floor a lot. Luckily, he's still in the best offense in the NFL, so he does have a good shot at a touchdown every week. But when he doesn't score, I think it's going to be bad news for Sam. Why are you so handsome? I don't know, man. I woke up this way. Good waiver wire pickup for running backs. Mason, you got to check the WalterPicks app for the free 10 transactions we give away every single week in the app. I'll be updating that. Usually it's updated around 6 a.m. on Monday morning when I finish updating them. I wake up around 4:30 to get those done for you. So definitely refresh the WalterPicks app tomorrow morning for all the transaction advice you could possibly need. We've been dominating with that advice. We were weeks ahead on Damian Harris, weeks ahead on Jacoby Myers. We were weeks ahead on selling on selling Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We've been weeks ahead of buying Derrick Henry. We were weeks ahead of selling Josh Allen as well. I know some of you probably still disagree with that one. Hey, Sam, how's it going? It's going pretty well, man. Thanks for asking. Would you pick up Mixon and or Gaskin if they are in waivers? Yes, I'd probably pick up Mixon, then Gaskin if they're on waivers. Thoughts on David Montgomery? Yeah, I think David Montgomery has a chance to – I do think David Montgomery has a chance to be a league winner, given his schedule and given the workload that he sees when he plays. Yo, Sam, I need AB to outscore Cup this week by 5. How do you think I'm looking? LOL. It's going to be close. You're going to be watching this game closely. It's definitely possible. I think Antonio Brown has some of the most upside of any player playing tonight. So he has a chance. Is the Rams slot corner any good? He's okay. Nothing to write home about. Really, the secondary, the defense of the Rams is good. I think that the Bucs offense is probably better, though. Should I trade Gaskin? Yeah, if you can. If you can get anything for Gaskin, I would do that. Thoughts on Justin Jefferson? I think he's the best rookie in the NFL, and I think that he's already a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, and we dominated the free player prop pick of the week this week. Justin Jefferson, over 61 receiving yards. He goes for 75. We are now 9 for 11. 9 out of 11. Over 80% accuracy with our free player prop picks this season. Absolutely insane. You can get those every single week. How did you come up with WalterPicks? Yeah, Qwick, I'll give that story in a sec. But every single week leading up to football on Sunday, I'm live literally from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. for a long time. It was that 4 hours, 5 hours. It feels like it's even longer, but it's a fun time. And I give away a free player prop pick every week. This past week was Justin Jefferson, over 61 yards. That was an absolute lock. Definitely make sure you're tuning into that Sunday stream. And how did you come up with the WalterPicks idea? Well, we had to name the algorithm something, saying the machine learning algorithm was simply too long. And we landed on the name Walter. We experimented with a few different names. We landed on the name Walter. It is more accurate than IBM's Watson, who, some people say Walter was copying Watson. I would argue maybe Watson was copying Walter because Walter has been more accurate. But we ran with Walter, and that's why it's called the WalterPicks app, because the artificially intelligent algorithm that I spent over 3 years building that is more accurate than ESPN and Yahoo and probably any other source of projections you use is named Walter. And that's where WalterPicks comes from. Sam Picks, QX. Sam Picks would be basically just these live streams jammed into an app, which is a little bit different, right? But you get Sam's Picks by coming to the live stream. Need suck up. If you want artificially intelligent projections, you have to use the WalterPicks app. How much is Higgins affected with Burrow? He's affected a ton. An absolute colossal amount. I think T. Higgins, not startable anymore. Tyler Boyd, super risky. AJ Green, also risky. Down 28.4 with Godwin and Kupp. Yeah, Tyler, you got a shot, man. You absolutely have a shot. You're going to need a bunch of touchdowns, though. Should I drop Kirk or Judy to pick him up? If you're dropping Kirk or Judy, I'd drop Kirk before I drop Judy. Hey, Sam, don't you think that Godwin might not do good tonight because of Ramsey? Jake, I'm glad you asked this because the Jalen Ramsey theory in fantasy football really has been incorrect most of the season, because what Jalen Ramsey does, he does not lock up a single receiver. What Jalen Ramsey does is he stays on his side of the field, and whatever wide receiver lines up with him, he kind of guards. It was like what Richard Sherman used to do. Richard Sherman basically just took half the field away, and that's kind of what Jalen Ramsey does this season. And I don't think it's a very smart approach. I see why they're doing it. I understand why Jalen Ramsey probably likes it, but when you do it that way, the Bucs basically will get to decide who Jalen Ramsey's covering at any given play. And so don't be surprised if Jalen Ramsey's covering a different receiver on all the different plays tonight. He's probably not going to be lined up with the same player for more than 50% of their snaps. Sam, thoughts on Gio? Yeah, I'm nervous about that entire Bengals offense without Joe Burrow. I think the whole thing is going to tank. Who do you think is the best cornerback in the league? I would argue, last year it was for sure Stephon Gilmore. This year, I think Ramsey's in the conversation. I think Xavier Howard's in the conversation. Gilmore's still in the conversation. There's a lot of good cornerbacks. J.D. McKissick. Yeah, J.D. McKissick continues to see targets, but Antonio Gibson, again, I think he's a solid running back too with upside, giving his receiving volume and his receiving ability. If that receiving volume increases, he's going to be great. Evening, Sam. Good to see you, Nick. Still putting in work. Yeah, you know it, man. I'm always putting in work. I've been up since 4:30 this morning, literally have pretty much worked in every single minute of today except for lunch, dinner, breakfast, and like a 30-minute workout. Every other time today, I've basically been working. So that tells you what my day is like. It's going to be the same thing tomorrow. Thoughts on Zeke? Yeah, guys, I was saying it. The Zeke breakout game was due. And I do think that Ezekiel Elliott is back. I think that the entire offense of the Dallas Cowboys, the arrow's pointing up. The offensive line looked much better in the last game. I haven't gone back and rewatched that game yet. I definitely will. But Andy Dalton returning looked like it definitely improved the offensive output. We bout that YouTube stream. Gas Johnson. Sam, what's your outlook on Deshaun Watson moving forward? Guys, Deshaun Watson was the number 1 quarterback this week. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's a top 5 fantasy football quarterback. They are really throwing the deep ball too in Houston, which is great. Great news for Deshaun Watson. I do think he's a top 5 quarterback in fantasy and in actual NFL. Miami defense is the real deal for sure. They've been dominant. And God, how bad was that Detroit Lions? How bad was that Detroit Lions offense, by the way? 0 points. It's hard, guys. It's actually pretty hard to score 0 points in the NFL. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube yet, guys, you got to go subscribe. We got 26 people watching live on YouTube right now. I appreciate every single one of you. We passed 1,000 YouTube subscribers in less than 10 days. And you can be part of the next 1,000. The next goal is going to be passing. We'll go 100 at a time, but the next goal is passing 2,000. Sam, do you know Joe? Joe who, Luke? Joe Burrow? No, don't know him personally. Hey, Sam, I just lost Breeze and now Burrow. Zach. What do you think about this trade? Fuller and Sterling Shepard for Herbert and Jameson and Lee Crowder. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, honestly. Zach, you're getting Herbert, who's a top 5 fantasy quarterback. Justin Herbert, by the way, already proclaimed. We've already named him. We've given him the trophy already. He's the offensive rookie of the year. Knock on wood that if he stays healthy, he's got it. He fell for it. Do I know Joe? Joe Mama. Luke. I get it. Yeah, I think Herbert's already offensive rookie of the year. He's going to break the touchdown record despite not even playing week 1. So pretty impressive what we're seeing out of Joe Burrow. I like the trade. Bro, I need help. Are James Robinson and Derrick Henry good running backs, or should I trade for one? Are James Robinson and Derrick Henry good running backs? Yes. Derrick Henry is the single most valuable player in fantasy football, in my opinion. I've been saying it for about a month now because I, again, plan ahead for the playoffs. And Derrick Henry is one of the easiest playoff schedules I've ever seen. Should I pick up rest of season Carr or Stafford? Definitely Carr over Goff and Stafford. I mean, let's see how Goff looks tonight. But Derek Carr has been one of the most underrated quarterbacks this season. I don't think people quite realize that Derek Carr is having his best season of his career. And he has some improved passing weapons, but he still really doesn't have that great of passing weapons. He's number 5 in adjusted yards per attempt. He's been top 10 in play action completion percentage, 11th in the NFL, and deep ball completion percentage. I mean, Derek Carr's having the best year of his career. It's not even close. It's Jamal. Hey, how's it going, man? Lamb is better. Yeah, Lamb is good. Thoughts on Lamar? Epic games. I think Lamar Jackson still has league-winning upside in the fantasy playoffs. Is Taysom Hill a QB1 now? He is a QB1. With how much he's rushing in fantasy, that is extremely valuable. We said it. We said that Taysom Hill, I mean, he's going to have at least 10 rushing attempts. He's probably going to lead all quarterbacks in rushing attempts in week 11. And what do you know? We go to week 11. We sort by rushing attempts for the quarterbacks. And who leads the way other than Taysom Hill, who is actually number 2? Lamar Jackson led the way with 13. But I think I was actually right on the money. I was saying Taysom Hill is going to have around 10 carries. He ended up getting 10 carries, turned that into 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had basically 20 points with just his rushing production. I'm in both streams. Alex, appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Can you tell me if James Robb and Ayuk for AJ Brown is a good trade? Yeah, I do think it's a fair trade. Personally, I'd probably keep James Robinson and Ayuk, but AJ Brown is also very good. If you really need a receiver, I think it's fine. Favorite Monday Night Football DFS captain? I think I would go either Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, or Antonio Brown. I think one of those players, if not probably 2 of those players, Tom Brady and either Chris Godwin or Antonio Brown, is going to go off. How worried are you about Kamara? I'm not that worried about him, though the targets were certainly concerning. Alvin Kamara, guys, 1 target. It was his first game, I think, in 3 years that he didn't have a catch. Very concerning. Ryan, good to see you, man. Just joined. With McLaren's ankle, anything to worry about? Yeah, definitely something to be monitoring heading into next week. Hopefully he's okay, though. Players usually can bounce back from the ankle injuries. Guys, I appreciate everyone watching live on YouTube right now. Definitely hit that like button. If you haven't hit that like button yet, it takes 2 seconds. If you are watching live on TikTok, come join us on YouTube. We have over 1,000 YouTube subscribers now. We did that in 10 days. 10 days. That means we are well on pace to pass the 10,000 YouTube subscriber mark by the end of the season, which would be pretty cool. By Super Bowl, having 10,000 YouTube subscribers, that's my personal goal. That would be a really big accomplishment to do that in really like half a season. So that's the goal. You can help us reach that goal. Go help us hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can also watch live on YouTube as well. Definitely do that. You can find our YouTube linked in TikTok in the link tree, or if you hit that little Instagram button, you can find our YouTube. Dolphins or Saints defense for week 12. Dolphins defense has been money. Thoughts on Jonathan Taylor? Guys, Jonathan Taylor has life. 22 carries, 26 touches, the most he's seen since week 2. This is his best game as a pro, and he's got league-winning upside now. Jonathan Taylor has a very good playoff schedule, and he has league-winning upside. Traded away CEH, though. Gas Johnson, I did too. I traded him away as well, but I think better 1 week too early than 1 week too late, Gas. I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is winning any leagues this season. I saw someone say, yes, you won't be able to start Taysom Hill at tight end or on flex on ESPN, Jackson, moving forward. They are reverting their decision. They got so much backlash that they are now second-guessing their decision to keep him at quarterback/tight end. And honestly, I disagree with their decision. I think that they should have either stuck to their guns because they made the call that he was a tight end at the beginning of the season, and then they stuck with that call in week 11. They should have stuck with that once they made that decision in week 11. If they wanted to say he's a quarterback, which he is, he's playing quarterback, then they should have removed the tight end designation for week 11 so that everyone knew that he's a quarterback. And the way they did it, it's like a referee second guessing their call. It's never what you want to see out of a ref. If you're a ref, you got to stick to your call. Everyone knows that. So I disagree with how they've handled it at ESPN. Again, I'm not very big into ESPN leagues. I think really the only thing that's changed about the ESPN fantasy app over the last 5 years is they added ads, and that's pretty much all they've done. The UI on the app, the design has really not grown with the times. I think Yahoo's much better. I think Sleeper is a much better app experience. I did Chubb for Anderson. I already have 2 top 5 backs, and in need of a wide receiver. I still would probably rather have Chubb. Even though, guys, Nick Chubb saw none of the goal line work for the Browns this past week. I think that's probably going to change from week to week, but if he doesn't score a touchdown and he's this uninvolved in the passing game, Nick Chubb has a lower floor than you probably realize. And guys, I appreciate everybody watching live on YouTube. Seriously, appreciate you so much. We started this YouTube channel 10 days ago. We're already over 1,000 YouTube subscribers. If you're on TikTok right now, you got to go check out our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 10,000 by the end of the season. We'll see if we can do it. Will Gio Bernard's points go up from here? Probably not. Giovanni Bernard, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, AJ Green. The entire offense is really extremely tough. Extremely tough to trust moving forward. I see someone asking about a free prop pick, and when I see someone mentioning Darnell Mooney. Oh no, you have a free prop tonight? Mooney's prop killed me last week. Dan, God. Yeah, you should have joined the Sunday stream. And the free prop picks we've given away on Sundays, we are 9-4-11. Those are always my favorite prop pick of the week. Monday night, you're a little bit more limited in the props, obviously, that you can choose. And we are 9 out of 11, over 80% accuracy, giving away free player prop picks this week, this season. And this week's was Justin Jefferson, over 60 yards. That was an absolute lock. So hopefully some of you were on that. And yeah, we do have one prop pick going tonight, but you got to be a premium subscriber in the WalterPicks app to see it. Go subscribe. You can start the 3-day free trial if you want to experience what the premium subscription is like in the WalterPicks app. Definitely go check that out if you haven't checked it out yet. What was GameStar saying? Cole, I appreciate you helping him out. Sam, I traded away Claypool and Bell for A.J. Brown. I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't think Le'Veon Bell is worth much. Mark Andrews or Noah Fant? Definitely Andrews rest of the season. Mark Andrews, Darren Waller. Guys, updated tiers for tight end. It's tier number 1, Travis Kelce still, by far in his own tier. Down below, right around here, tier number 2, we have Darren Waller and we have Mark Andrews. Both those guys are in tier 2. And then everyone else that you want to mention, they're below at tier 3. Like right below tier 2 is tier 3. And there's a huge gap between tier 1 and tier 2. But Travis Kelce is an absolute beast, one of the best tight ends of all time. He's having one of the best tight end seasons of all time. He's really the only consistent high upside tight end. But Mark Andrews and Darren Waller have a higher upside than most other tight ends. Yo, Sam, please answer. Ibrahim, I got you, man. Would you trade away, I hope I said your name right. Would you trade away Zeke and A.J. Brown for Derrick Henry and Robbie Anderson? Yeah, I would do that. I'm okay with that. Again, Derrick Henry to me is more valuable than Ezekiel Elliott. And I do think Zeke is back. Again, good job holding on to Zeke before the breakout week because the offensive line is improving for the Cowboys. Andy Dalton's back. That's a good news for the whole Cowboys offense. So yeah, I would probably take Derrick Henry over Zeke. I like that trade. I got you. No worries. But I do think Zeke, you held on to him long enough. I was saying, I've really been on the money with Zeke this season, where we saw Andy Dalton, we saw Dak Prescott got injured, RIP, and I was immediately saying, you got to sell Zeke. You got to sell Zeke. We also saw like the entire offensive line in that game get injured. That was almost more concerning than the Dak injury. I'm screaming at people to sell Ezekiel Elliott. They're screaming back at me. I'm not selling Ezekiel Elliott. And what do we see over the next month? Ezekiel Elliott had, I think, 0 games over 12 fantasy points, didn't score a single touchdown. The Cowboys offense tanks, just as I predicted. And now the offensive line is getting back healthier. Andy Dalton's returning. And now I'm saying, no, this is now the time to buy Zeke. Let's buy low on Ezekiel Elliott. He's still seeing 20 touches per game. He still is Zeke. He still is a top 10 running back, if not top 5 talent in the NFL. And that's what we saw this week. He's got more multiple touchdown games coming too. I'm down 8. I have Gronk and he suck up. Jack, I think you got it, man. I cannot wait for Eckler. Jackson, I cannot wait for Austin Eckler either, man. He's one of my favorite players. Sam, please answer. I traded Nick Chubb and Tyler Lockett for Miles Sanders and Kareem Hunt. I don't think I like it. I don't think I like that trade. Bro, do I trade Travis Fulgham from Michael Pittman? Yeah, I would do that one. Michael Pittman, the number 1 receiver. Stop rambling. Caleb, I'm sorry. I tend to ramble sometimes. The Michael Pittman is the number 1 wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts at this point, guys. He's led them in targets 2 straight weeks, led them in yards 2 straight weeks. And now we're seeing Pittman really grow in as the primary target for Phillip Rivers in this offense. And he only saw 3 targets this past week, but he was on the field for more snaps than any other wide receiver. Hey, Sam, thoughts on Miles Sanders? Yeah, I'm nervous about Miles Sanders. The entire Philadelphia Eagles offense is just sad. I mean, Carson Wentz is a big part of the problem. The offensive line is also a huge part of the issue, but Carson Wentz has been bad. So I do think Miles Sanders is going to struggle if that offense is gonna look that bad. But should I start Tua versus the Jets or Derek Carr versus the Falcons? Again, guys, we're on week 11 still. Stop moving ahead to week 12. But I do think I would probably start Tua against the Jets. But again, Derek Carr versus the Falcons is tempting. Definitely tempting. You got to ask me that one again starting next week. And guys, we're also going to be live leading up to the Thanksgiving games. I will be live. I think that morning we're going to be posting some longer form content about those Thanksgiving games. Super excited. I love Thanksgiving football. It's one of my favorite days of the year. My favorite holiday of the year. It's obviously going to be a little different this year because everything is a little different in 2020, but we still get football on Thanksgiving, and it's going to be a very fun Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are excited for it as well. Hey, brother, how's it going, man? Good to see you. B Skull, nice to see you again, man. D-Hop and Ridley rest of season. Should I try to trade D-Hop and Mixon/Bernard for King Henry? Yeah, I like the trade. If you can get King Henry for that. You think I can win if Suckup gets 1.15 more than Bucks defense? I lose. Oh, close one. Suckup has been scoring a lot. Ever since I started using WalterPicks, I'm 4-1. Qwick, that's what I'm talking about, man. Let's go get the trophy, though. A lot of people in the if you check out, we're over 830 5-star reviews in the iOS App Store for the WalterPicks app. And I've responded to almost every single 5-star review and 1-star review that people gave. And you'll see in a lot of the comments I gave on those reviews, I was saying, I'm glad you've had so much success with the WalterPicks app, but don't celebrate too soon. One of the things you learn as an athlete, you cannot celebrate too soon. It's the same thing in fantasy football. Don't celebrate till you win the championship. Is Swift a top 10 running back? He could be moving forward, but in fantasy, no. The whole Lions offense is tough to trust. In fantasy, no. He could have the potential to grow into that top 10 talent, though. Jake, hey Sam, gave 5-star reviews and subscribe. Thanks, man. Who can I get for Evans and Taylor? I think hold on to Jonathan Taylor at this point, but definitely look to trade Mike Evans. And if you could package Evans and Taylor for Henry, I would do that one. If you're trading Mike Evans, see if you can go get Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson over 25% target share in every single game. Hey Sam, premium subscriber, thoughts on Damian Harris? Yeah, Damian Harris again. He scored a touchdown this week, which was huge. I was complaining about him in fantasy because he saw 0 red zone touches in the game. He went over 100 yards before this week. This week he starts to see more of that red zone work, which is very good for his floor and ceiling. He only saw half the amount of carries, but he scored more fantasy points because he scored a touchdown. That's going to be big for him moving forward. He also saw a couple targets, which was really encouraging. He's looked like the best back for the Pats too. And Rex Burkhead's down now. Hey, Sam, premium sub. Johnny, thanks for being a premium subscriber in the WalterPicks app, man. It helps us out a ton. Who should I target? MT. Let me scroll back up to that one. Should I target for Sanders? Which running back or wide receiver should I target for Miles Sanders? Yeah, if you're trading away Miles Sanders, which I think you got to consider at this point, I think Miles Sanders has an increased level of risk. Go see if you can get Jonathan Taylor and something else. Go see if you can get David Montgomery and something else. Both guys with great playoff schedules. Go see if you can get Antonio Gibson. Go see if you can add something to Miles Sanders and go get Derrick King Henry, who's going to win more leagues than any other player in fantasy football this year. Is Lamb a starter? Yeah, rest of the season, I do think he is. Should I trade Juju and Jefferson for Eckler? It's a lot. I do like Justin Jefferson a lot, but Austin Eckler, to me, he's got top 10 running back upside when he returns. Thoughts on Crowder? I feel like Mims is stealing the show. I know. Hope tonight's prop pays for it. Dan, I hope it does too, man. We went 6 for 6 this week, so I'm sad you missed out on that, but I hope Dan, we've gotten a lot of feedback that basically almost all of our premium subscribers have made more money than they paid us with the premium subscription. And that's the whole idea, right, Dan? So hopefully you can. I do think Mims is going to be more and more involved in that Jets offense, but I think when Sam Darnold returns, that's going to be good news for Jamison Crowder. Hey, man, Deontay Johnson for Juju? No, I'd much rather have Deontay. He's the clear number one wide receiver there. Thoughts on Kamara after last game? Yeah, his floor has lowered. He had his first game in like 3 years without a reception. Very, very bad news for Kamara's ceiling. What's your favorite team? It's the Pats. You can see them behind me on YouTube. It's the Pats. I've been a Pats fan my whole life, and this year it's been pretty depressing. We should have lost to the Jets. We lose to the Texans. I mean, we've had some bad losses. You think Jonathan Taylor is back in his role? Yeah, I do think he is. Guys, there's life for Jonathan Taylor. He saw 22 carries, 4 targets. I mean, very encouraging. He played by far the most snaps. He's got a very easy playoff schedule. Who knows if it could flip back, but there's some life now. Sam, please answer. When does Eckler come back? Haiti, it's coming. He's coming back possibly next week, this week. If not, it's going to be the week after that. That's my prediction. Who can I get for Boyd and Fournette? And should I trade Boyd? Yeah, I think you can trade Boyd and Fournette. Honestly, if you can get any starters for those two guys, I would be willing to do it. Both those guys are extremely risky. We'll see how Fournette does tonight. Again, I still think he's the best receiving back on a very good offense, so he does still have upside. But if you could trade both those guys for a guy like Austin Eckler, if you could go get a guy like Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, I think I'd prefer those guys. Would you do Sanders for Eckler? Yes, I would do Sanders for Eckler straight up in a second. Again, Austin Eckler, to me, the second he's back, he's a top 10 running back in fantasy football. Hey, Sam, premium user here. What should I do with T. Higgins? Mark, if you can get anything for him, you got to get something, because T. Higgins, his value is going to plummet. Without Joe Burrow, he's going to be basically nothing. He's probably going to go under 5 points next week, and then his value is going to be close to the waiver wire. So if you can trade him, do it. If you have him in Dynasty, hold on to him. He has a clear connection with Joe Burrow. Hey, Sam, Jacobs and T. Higgins for Aaron Jones. Yeah, it's a fair trade. I think I'd do that one. Aaron Jones definitely has league-winning upside this year. Thoughts on Chris Carson? Yeah, Chris Carson, guys, low-key in a situation similar to Raheem Mostert, where both those guys have been running back ones this season, have been out for a while, and both of them, when they return, which is going to be right around the fantasy playoffs, could be running back ones again. I mean, Chris Carson definitely, I would prefer Chris Carson over Raheem Mostert, honestly. He's in a better offense, a team that's still going to be fighting for the playoffs, has a better chance to get a lead, and Chris Carson was seeing the most targets per game he'd seen in his career. When do you think Kittle is coming back? I'm not sure he is. I don't know why they would bring him back, right? Because they're already out of playoff contention. He's the most valuable player on their team. So I'm not sure he's coming back, but there is a chance, and so you can't drop George Kittle. You got to hold on to him. There's a chance he comes back in as soon as 2 weeks from now. But most likely we won't see him again, is what my prediction is. Up 4, got Evans. He's got Gronk. Who you got? I got him, man. I think Gronk could outscore Evans by 4 tonight. Thoughts on Hayden Hurst? Yeah, Hayden Hurst continues to be one of the sleeper tight ends of the season, seeing pretty consistent deep targets per game. He's very involved in the red zone. But that being said, he's in tier 3 or 4 of the tight ends. Again, tier 1, it's Travis Kelce. Way below that is tier 2 with Darren Waller and Mark Andrews. So he's below that tier. Would you rather have Eckler over Robinson? I would probably trade Robinson for Eckler if I could do that. And you probably can. You probably can trade Robinson for Eckler. And that's something I would probably do. And that's a risky approach. But again, if you've been following me for long enough, you know I have a risk. I like to take risks. And Austin Eckler is a risk I'm willing to take this season. He's been top 5 in fantasy points per game at the running back position in his last 15 games. He's averaging 19 fantasy points per game. He's playing on a team that has an extremely valuable running back role. They throw the ball a ton to their running backs. They run it a lot with their running backs in the red zone. I mean, with Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler can be a top 5 fantasy football running back. And most people overlook him because he's this small guy that just has gone overlooked really his whole career. I mean, he comes in the league undrafted, and all he has done is produce. He was the second most efficient receiver in the league behind Christian McCaffrey last year, and he's been the second most efficient receiver at the running back position this year in his short amount of games, only behind Alvin Kamara. Sahil, thoughts on Taylor's performance yesterday and his role going forward? Yeah, I mean, he's got league-winning upside in fantasy. He saw 26 touches in this game, dominating the snaps, dominating the volume for the Indianapolis Colts this week. I'm definitely excited about Jonathan Taylor's rise from the ashes. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was in the ashes, guys. He was like deep into people's benches. You couldn't even think about starting him in this offense. I mean, what he saw like 5 opportunities the game before that, like played less snaps than Jordan Wilkins. I mean, how is Jonathan Taylor playing less snaps than Jordan Wilkins? He had 7 carries for 12 yards in week 10, and then he gets 22 carries for 90 in week 11. Very exciting stuff. And he also was pretty involved in the passing game. Does Walter have a league? Julian, we don't have any WalterPicks leagues, though we probably will make some subscriber leagues for next season, which will be a lot of fun. Probably going to have some subscriber dynasty leagues going as well. Hey, Sam, that'll be exclusive to the WalterPicks premium subscribers. Jacobs cannot get a goal line TD. I know, it's frustrating. How do you feel about Cooper Kupp? Love Cooper Kupp. I'm wearing his jersey. Cooper Kupp paid for this jersey himself because we've hit 5 of his player props this season. So got to love Cooper Kupp. He's one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL, really has been for quite a long time. He's been top 20 in yards per route run, really his whole career. This season, in terms of yards per route run, he's at 1.88, which ranks inside the top 40, not quite inside the top 20 that he's used to, but I do think he's one of the more underrated wide receivers in the NFL. Thoughts on Lamar Jackson? Again, I do think, hey, Sam, premium membership. Yeah, I'll get to you in a second. I do think that Lamar Jackson has league-winning upside, guys. He's still Lamar. He's got a great playoff schedule. And he led the league in rushing attempts this past week at the quarterback position. He had more rushing attempts than Taysom Hill. He ran the ball 13 times. And that is an extremely good sign for Lamar Jackson's floor and ceiling. I think he's still a top 5 fantasy quarterback rest of the season. And most people would disagree with that. Dean Ryan, but I'm not most people. Dean Ryan. Hey, Sam, premium membership. Who is better long-term, Cook or Henry? I've been saying Henry for quite some time now. I think it's close. But Derrick Henry, to me, the playoff schedule that he has, it makes him the most valuable asset in fantasy football, regardless of format. He's going to go absolutely off in the 3 weeks of fantasy playoffs. It's going to be insane. And if you have Derrick Henry and you're in the playoffs, you're probably going to win your league. And that's just how it's going to go. And guys, I appreciate everybody watching live on YouTube and TikTok right now. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. Helps us out a ton, more than you probably realize. So definitely hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Really do appreciate that. And if you're watching on TikTok, guys, we're over 1,000 YouTube subscribers in less than 10 days, and you can be part of this growth. Come join the YouTube channel. It's been a fun time. We're going to be posting some longer form content on YouTube. There's going to be some videos about these Thanksgiving games coming out tomorrow, if not the next day, probably before the Thanksgiving game. So that's something to look forward to. When is the top 10 rest of season at each position series coming? Ryan, it's coming. It is coming. Hey, Sam, how's it going, man? Alex C., it's going well. Living the dream, man. I've been up since 4:30, but loving it, man. I work a lot, but I enjoy the work. It's been a lot of fun. So it's going well, Alex. Thoughts on Kyler or Hopkins? Thoughts on Kyler and Hopkins. Yeah, I think they're both top 5 at their position. Kyler Murray was in the MVP conversation before the last game, clearly struggling with some injuries. Do you watch the NBA? Yeah, I do watch a little NBA. I'm definitely much more tuned into the NFL, though. Sup, Sam? I traded Antonio Gibson and Gurley. Oh, I didn't see the rest of that trade. The chat moves fast, man. Gibson, Gurley, and a first for Swift and a third in Dynasty. I don't like the trade at all. No, I don't like the trade. I think Antonio Gibson's not that much far off from DeAndre Swift. I don't get me wrong. DeAndre Swift is more valuable than Antonio Gibson in Dynasty, but a first-round pick could turn into a player like DeAndre Swift. I think I would prefer Will what you gave up there, but you're putting faith in the guy you trust, which is DeAndre Swift. Favorite Rams running back tonight? Yeah, I mean, let's spin the wheel on the Rams running backs tonight. I mean, good luck guessing which one's going to produce. I'm going to lean towards Darrell Henderson, who, by the way, was one of my favorite running backs in that class coming out. He dominated at University of Memphis. I do think, sad about Hines yesterday, yeah. I do think that Darrell Henderson's the best back in that backfield. It's okay. I have Kelsey save me on the last touchdown. Do you think Taylor has taken over again? Yeah, I do. I do think Taylor's back. Jonathan Taylor rose from the ashes. He was deep on people's benches, and now he's going to be back in the starting lineups. Very, very exciting for Jonathan Taylor. Hey, Sam, premium member, down by 28. He is Rams D. But I have Robert Woods and Fournette. Yeah, you have a chance, Sam, but I put your odds at less than 25%. You're down by a lot. You never want to be down. Thoughts on Eagles tight ends? Yeah, Dallas Goedert was a top 5 tight end this week with it that garbage time touchdown that he scored. He played, I think, every snap but 2. But when Zach Ertz returns, I think both of them are going to be top 12 tight end in the top 12 tight end conversation every single week. Hey, Sam, thoughts on winning? I'm down by 40, and I have AB, Fournette, and Bucks D. I mean, there's no better player, I think, tonight to have than Antonio Brown if you're down by a lot of fantasy points, because Antonio Brown has seen his targets increase in 2 straight games now, and he has some of the highest upside in the NFL because of the type of receiver that he is. So I do think he has some upside. Yo, Sam, any final trade targets? My deadline is Wednesday. Yes, I do have some final trade targets. Go get Derrick Henry. I don't care what it costs. He's the most valuable player in fantasy. He's got an absolutely insane playoff schedule. And my general trade advice, guys, I like telling you guys like who to target, but I think more fun than who to target is the actual strategy and philosophy behind your decision-making and the strategy behind it. For me, my strategy in fantasy football leagues is when you start out the season, depth is important. You got to deal with bye weeks. Injuries are always going to happen. Depth helps. But as you get closer and closer to the playoffs, depth matters less and less. You've already dealt with the bye weeks. At this point, you got to sell everything you possibly can on your bench to get the best starters possible for the playoffs. So do what it needs. I don't care how good your bench players are. Sell them, combine them with your starters, and upgrade your starting positions. I do that in every single league. My benches are atrocious heading into the playoffs. I put all the chips on the table. I'm riding with my starting lineup, and if one of them gets hurt, I mean, then it's just tough luck that season. But I do think that's a pretty good, again, only one person wins. You got to take some risks to win a fantasy league. Hey, Sam, premium sub, Kamar, straight up for Henry, or Keenan Allen for Henry? I have Herbert. I would do Kamar, straight up for Henry, 1,000%. I would hold on to the Keenan Allen Herbert stack. That's a dominant duo to have in fantasy. Do you think, by the way, I have the Herbert and Keenan Allen stack, and that is the one league I'm in last place in. Brutal. I mean, I got absolutely decimated by injuries in that league, but Herbert and Keenan Allen have at least given me a little bit of hope. I'm in 8 different fantasy leagues, so I'm bound to come in last in one of them, I feel like. Should I do Julio? Will Julio finish good? I don't know. I don't know if Julio is going to finish well. What's up, guys? Jack, good to see you, man. I am worried about Julio Jones. He's 31 years old. He's got another nagging injury. But again, every time Julio Jones is on the field and healthy, he's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He's number 3 in yards per route run this season. Every time he's running a route, he is an absolute force. And for that reason, you can't sell him because, again, when he's back, he's going to be really, really good. What it comes down to for Julio Jones is, will he be healthy or will he not? And if he is, he's going to be dominant in the fantasy playoffs. And if he's not going to be very good. Premium sub here. Caden, thanks for subscribing in the WalterPicks app, man. Yeah, our premium subscribers really help us keep us going. Every single premium subscriber really brings us one step closer to a dream come true of doing this full time, which would be absolutely amazing. So I would love to get there. That would be incredible. Top waiver wire pickups, Zach. Yeah, I'm going to be posting again every single week in the WalterPicks app. I give away 10 free transactions, and I'm going to be posting the top waiver wire pickups. But this seems like, based off my preliminary research so far, one of the worst waiver wire weeks of the season. It really does feel like a down waiver wire week, but I'll definitely be updating you in the WalterPicks app. That'll be updated around 6 a.m. I'll wake up around 4:30, get those done tomorrow morning. So check out the app, refresh the app around 6 a.m. tomorrow, and those will be there for you in the 10 transactions tool. If you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet on the iOS App Store, you got to go check it out, guys. Spent over 400 hours on this app. I've spent over 3 years building the projections, the machine learning projections that power the app. They've been more accurate than ESPN, Yahoo, and any other source of projections you use. Thoughts on Tyler Boyd without Burrow? Yeah, I'm so down on Tyler Boyd. I'm down on T. Higgins. I'm worried about AJ Green. I'm worried about Joe Mixon when he returns. Giovanni Bernard's not trustworthy at all anymore. The whole offense is going to be complete garbage without Joe Burrow. I'm up 40. It's going to be back to the old days of the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm up 40. He has Evans, Fournette, Suckup. Who's winning? Probably you. Hey, Sam, I have Crowder, AB, Moore, Gibson, and Sanders on the bench. Who should I target in a trade for flex? Yeah, combine your bench players, guys. Go combine your bench players and go get Derrick Henry. Go combine your bench players. Go get Justin Jefferson. Go combine your bench players and go trade for Deontay Johnson or for Keenan Allen, for Jamison Elite Crowder, who's probably extremely cheap right now. Julio or MT rest of season? Oh, that's a close one. I like that question. I'd probably lean the slant king, Michael Thomas, who saw over 50% of Taysom Hill's passing attempts last week. 50% target share is absolutely incredible. You won't see any wide receiver ever have a season with more than, I think the record's like a 33% target share, and Michael Thomas had 52% of the targets. Absolutely insane. Is my team winning a championship? Herbert, Cook, Sanders, D-Hop, Terry, Reed, AB? Yeah, you definitely have a chance. I can't type. Hey, Andrew, I know the feeling. Cup or Evans tonight? Again, I'll rank the receivers tonight really quickly. And again, I challenge you. Take out a pen, take out a paper, or take out your notepad on your phone or a Word document on your computer. I challenge you to rank these 5 wide receivers tonight. If you can get them right, I'll be very impressed. I would argue that not a single person who ranks these 5 wide receivers tonight is going to get them right because there's a lot of variability here. But here's how I'm ranking them. I'm going Chris Godwin, number 1. As the number 1 receiver tonight, Antonio Brown, number 2. Antonio Brown seen his targets increase 2 straight games. He's led the team in air yards. I think that he isn't going to get much of Jalen Ramsey. If his snaps go back to 80% and his target per snap rate stays the same, he has a chance to be the number 1 receiver tonight. So again, Chris Godwin, number 1. I got Antonio Brown, number 2 tonight. Number 3, I'm going Cooper Kupp, who, by the way, I'm wearing his jersey. He paid for this jersey himself, by the way, with his player props. Number 4, I would go Robert Woods. And number 5, I have Mike Evans. Mike Evans averaging less than 50 receiving yards per game in games where Chris Godwin also plays. He still has only been able to produce in fantasy because of touchdowns. And again, of course, he does have pretty good touchdown upside. No Gronk, right? He stinks. No, Andrew, I do think Gronk. Why does Gronk stink? No, Gronk's actually been one of the higher upside tight ends this season, and I do think Gronk has a pretty good shot at a touchdown again. My season is on the line. Good luck, Jack. Do we like Brady and Gronk tonight? Yeah, I like both of them. I think they're going to connect for at least 1 touchdown tonight, man. What are the odds? Let's look at what the odds are for Gronk to score the first touchdown tonight. Chark for Rodgers. I have Bridgewater. Yeah, it's a fair trade. I'm okay with that trade. And usually I don't like trading. Usually I really don't like trading for quarterbacks. Sorry, Andrew. Jack is going to beat me. Oh, you guys are in the same league. 35 points from them. Tom Brady and Gronk can absolutely combine for 35. It's going to be close, though. Wow, Rob Gronkowski is minus 125 to score a touchdown tonight. They're saying over 50% chance Rob Gronkowski scores a touchdown. Will Golladay be the same when he's back? Yeah, I think Golladay is going to be an absolute touchdown machine when he comes back. Hey, in both live streams, Caden, thanks, man. Just offered Josh Allen and Andrews for Murray. Should I? Just got offered Josh Allen and Andrews for Murray. Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair trade. I sat Godwin and Brown this week. Interesting. Chris Godwin and Brown are definitely going to get 6 points. I think, again, I'd rank these receivers tonight as Chris Godwin, number 1. I would say Antonio Brown, number 2. Cooper Kupp, number 3. Robert Woods, number 4. Mike Evans, number 5. And that could easily end up being the reverse order. Again, I challenge you. Write down those 5 wide receivers in the order you think they're going to finish tonight and see how close you are. This is a challenging job. It is hard to predict these receivers who are all competing for targets. I'm very interested to see how they'll shape up tonight, but that's my prediction. Oh, man, that's a lot of guys in IR. That's tough. Eckler back this week. I really hope. Man, what a great week it would be if Austin Eckler would return. Thanks, man. Up by 20 tonight, and I have Suck Up, and he has Gronk. I'm scared, Caden. What the Vegas sports books are saying, Rob Gronkowski has over a 50% chance to score a touchdown tonight. I mean, that's pretty incredible. That is pretty incredible. And his over-under, wow, it's moved definitely a little bit since since this morning. Rob Gronkowski's over-under started at 33, now it's up to 38. It's definitely seen some serious line movement. Thoughts on Miles Sanders? Yeah, I'm nervous about him. Thoughts on Dez Bryant? Yeah, what a cool thing getting to see Dez Bryant catch some balls this week for the Baltimore Ravens. That was very cool. It's nice seeing him back out there. I'm very happy for Dez Bryant. Guys, if you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet on the iOS App Store, you got to check it out. I've spent over 400 hours building the app. I've spent over 3 years building the algorithm behind the app, and we went 6 for 6 on player props this week. Yo, not football related, but has anyone played the new Spider-Man game? Nope, haven't played that game. I haven't played video games in quite a while. I've honestly been working too much, man. Thoughts on Taysom Hill? Yeah, Taysom Hill to me is a top 10 quarterback in fantasy because of his rushing. He had 10 rushing attempts. He turned that into 52 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 20 points just on the ground, and that gives him an insane floor in fantasy football. So I do think he's a pretty good asset in fantasy, even though on ESPN, you're not going to be allowed to play him at tight end anymore. Love the player props. Ben Sloniker. Thanks, man. I know you're cashing in on them, Ben. Thoughts on JT? By the way, kind of like where this whole brand started, because I was actually posting the player. There was a point in time before WalterPicks app where I was getting like 30 to 50 texts from my friends in the morning asking me who they should bet on, who they should start and sit. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. I need to streamline this process. And because they knew I was looking at the math, the data behind things. And so I needed to streamline the process and give them an easy way to see what I was going to tell them anyway. And so I've done that. And now there's thousands of people that use that same process, which is very cool. If you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app, you got to check it out. But that's really like where it all started. Who's better, Lamar or Hill? Lamar, come on. Should I put Brown at flex instead of Woods? Antonio Brown, again, this is how I would rank the receivers tonight. I would, by the way. But this is how I would rank the receivers tonight. If you want to get the official start sit answer, you got to check the WalterPicks app out to use machine learning and AI to give you the best possible information you need to make the start sit decision. But I would personally be playing Antonio Brown over every single wide receiver not named Chris Godwin tonight. That's what I think. Do you like Cooper Kupp over 61 yards tonight? I always love Cooper Kupp. Walter did not identify Cooper Kupp tonight. Cooper Kupp, again, he paid for this jersey himself with his player props. We've nailed 4 out of the 5 Cooper Kupp props this season. Walter has identified him 5 times, and 4 of the times he's been right. So I love Cooper Kupp, and I do think he's underrated. So it's always a good time rooting for him. Personally, I have no money on him. How deep are the leagues you're in, Zach? They're deep, man, deep. I'm in a 14-team league with like 20-man rosters. I mean, LaMichael Pirine was rostered before he even got a touch of the football. That's how deep the leagues I'm in. I'm in leagues so deep. I am in such deep of leagues that backup quarterbacks are like Andy Dalton was rostered before Dak was even injured. That's in a single quarterback league. That's how ridiculous it is. I just downloaded your app. Thanks, man. I'm fighting to get into semifinals. All right, let's do it, man. Do I start Carson against the Eagles? Yeah, if Chris Carson's back, you got to start him. I think definitely. Who should I prioritize on waivers? You got to go check the WalterPicks app for the 10 free transactions that I'll give away. It'll be updated 6 a.m. tomorrow. You doing the showdown slate tonight? Visa. I'm not. I'm not doing the showdown slate tonight, but if I was, I would be going with Antonio Brown or Tom Brady or Chris Godwin. I think in the captain slot, I think those 3 players have the most upside tonight. And so I would go with one of them. Appreciate it. We got a moderator in the YouTube comments now, which is very helpful. Over under tonight, Zach. Let's take a look at what the spread is tonight. That's a good spot to end on, Zach. I like the question. The spread tonight, the Buccaneers are 4-point favorites. The over under is 47.5. I would take the over there. I think that the Bucs themselves could put up over 30 points in this game, and the Rams offense could be creative enough to get over 20. I think that it won't surprise me if the Bucs finish in the 30s, the Rams finish in the 20s. It really will come down to how fast-paced the Bucs can stay against a pretty good Rams defense. Guys, if you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app, you got to check it out. I will be live, guys. We're going to be posting some content on YouTube. If you haven't checked out the YouTube channel yet, by the way, you got to go subscribe, linked in our TikTok account. But we're going to be posting some longer form content this week on YouTube, our first longer form content. We're going to be coming out with some Thanksgiving content for you all. Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of the year. We're also going to be starting to post our top 10 of each position, longer form content on YouTube. So I hope you guys are excited about that as well. I'm live the hour before football every single time football is on. The 3 hours leading up to football on Sunday, I'm live. leading up to the Thursday night game. I'm live leading up to the Monday night game. Guys, have a fantastic Monday night. I will see you all soon, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the YouTube comments as well. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Have a great night, everyone. And I do think Jonathan Taylor is a top 24 running back rest of the season. And YouTube, I'll always stick around with you guys for a couple minutes longer, try to get to the questions I wasn't able to get. It is a little distracting sometimes with both going. So I'll do rapid fire, 5 minutes of the YouTube questions. What's going on, Sam Bronson? Who should I try to get for tight end? And do you think I should start Taysom Hill over Russ in his tough weeks? Yeah, tight end, again, I think tier 1's Travis Kelce, tier 2's Mark Andrews and Darren Waller. If you're scrapping for tight ends, see where Zach Ertz is at right now, because Zach Ertz is coming back. What are your thoughts on A-Rob? He trade worthy? Yeah, Allen Robinson to me is still a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. He's produced despite horrible quarterback play his whole career. And I mean, who knows what the Bears are tossing out there at quarterback at this point, but I still think Allen Robinson is a top 20 running back. Thoughts on Gaskin? Yeah, Tyler, I'm nervous about him. I don't think he's going to be guaranteed his role when he returns. Thoughts on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? I'm trading him, Griffin. I think that if he doesn't score a touchdown, he's going to go under 10 points. He had 11 combined carries in the previous 2 weeks before this week. Is Goddard a startable tight end the rest of the season? Yeah, I think he is, even with Ertz returning. What's up, Sam? Start 3. Kamara, Chubb, Eckler, Robinson. You're on week 12. I'm still on week 11. You're ahead of me, Ben. If I had to guess now, again, I haven't finished the projections for next week. I'd go with those first 3 guys if Eckler's playing, and I really hope he is. Terry or Galladay rest of season? I would probably go Terry over Galladay. We'll see what that ankle injury ends up looking like. Thoughts on trading my 2nd-round pick for Henry? I'm in 4th place. Oh, Dan, if that's a dynasty league, it's an interesting option. I think I would consider it. I'm all about sending it for the championships. Deal with what you got for draft picks later on. Should I trade Fournette and Damian Harris for Derrick Henry? Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. Let's end on that trade, because that minor warfare 3, you just won your league with that trade, man. Go hit accept immediately. Watson or Allen rest of the season, I'd probably go with Deshaun Watson. And a good package to get Eckler. Really, any running back 2, wide receiver 2 combination, I'm willing to give up for Austin Eckler. Again, I think he can be a top 10 running back in fantasy. Guys, have a fantastic night. I love you, appreciate the support, and thanks for hitting that like button on the stream.